Hello, Provo City. I am Superintendent Dow of the Provo City School District. Today is Monday, November 11th. Today is Veterans Day. From all of us here in Provo City School District, we want to give a huge shout out to everyone who is a veteran, who is currently serving, who has served our country. We are so grateful for the sacrifices that you have made and that your family has made. We know it is an entire family sacrifice that happens, and we appreciate all that you have done and are doing to keep our country safe and to keep the United States of America such an incredible place to be. We are very, very fortunate. So just a big shout out to you. We know several of our schools had celebration ceremonies and remembrances. We hope that you felt seen and appreciated and loved, because we would not live in this great country if it weren't for all of the sacrifices and service that you have given to each one of us. So thank you. I also want to let you know that our Provo Way Award winner this week is Shane Rowley. He was nominated by a former student who stated that he really only got through the toughest times of his life because of Shane's influence and support. And so we know that teachers and employees and educators make such a difference in our students' lives. And so just really want to thank Shane for all of his hard work and in making such a difference in the lives of even one student, but we know it's tons of students. So if you know Shane, please give him a shout out. We also want to congratulate Edgemont Elementary School. I was able to travel with Principal Karchner and Vice Principal Olson to Washington, D.C. to receive the National Blue Ribbon School Award from the Department of Education. Edgemont Elementary was one of 3 elementary schools in the state of Utah that received this honor, basically stating that it's one of the top schools in the nation. There are just over 300 schools nationwide that received this honor, and the fact that Edgemont Elementary received it speaks volumes about the community of Edgemont, the quality of teaching that takes place at Edgemont, the quality of leadership, just every single employee coming together to make that school such a success. When I talked with Principal Karchner and Vice Principal Olson, they just give all of the credit to their staff and to the individuals that are putting student learning at the forefront. They work hard to analyze data, to adjust instruction, to do all that they need to do to ensure the best learning environment for students. So we will have a formal ceremony for them on Thursday at 10 a.m. If you would like to join us, that would be very exciting. But we are excited for the entire Edgemont community because we know it takes all of them to make it such an incredible school. We also want to make you aware that board meeting is taking place tomorrow. The study session begins at 4 o'clock and the business meeting begins at 7 o'clock. In the study session, we will be discussing the final draft of our electronic devices policy, and the board is set to vote on this policy in a business meeting. We appreciate everyone who has engaged with this conversation and has given us feedback. I think we have arrived at a really good policy as a result of all of the stakeholders really taking an interest in this, making sure that we're creating really great environments, but providing for students to have access to their devices in cases of emergencies, but also making sure that we're designing really great instruction for our students. So all of that is encompassed in that policy, and you can see that conversation tomorrow evening. We also have some policies that are tied to our teaching and learning department with respect to sensitive materials, making sure that everything is aligned with the new state law. We made some adjustments to some of our curriculum adoption and our school library media materials policy, as well as creating a separate sensitive materials policy. That policy's been in place since August, but we wanted to just make sure that all of those policies were aligning and that we had clear procedures in place. So all of that should be lined out, and so we will be taking a look at that as well. We will also be looking at our rental policy and just a quick adaptation to our fundraising and donation policy to allow for group fundraisers to be applied to travel, because that becomes very important for students to be able to offset the cost of travel at the secondary level. So stay tuned for that. That will happen tomorrow evening. We will also be talking about the Wasatch Elementary move-in timeline. We will be talking about construction proposals for Timpview and the Dixon site. We will also be talking about the costs associated with Camp Big Springs, the benefits that are associated with that, just revisiting that parents are very supportive of that particular program, but also looking at other ways in which we could utilize that money and making determinations about what is the best way to utilize the money that is spent and making sure it's in alignment with our strategic plan. So it's just a conversation, nothing's being decided or voted on there, but wanted you to be aware of that. And then want to make sure that we give people an opportunity to provide feedback to those ideas. We also want to make you aware of some PowerSchool attendance updates. So we have transitioned over to what is called a Safe Arrival system. So PowerSchool is our student information system. That's where we track our attendance. And the Safe Arrival system is an app that you download where parents can go in and excuse absences and be notified of what's happening with their students' attendance. So we just want to make you aware of a couple of situations that have come up and hoping to clarify some issues. So we've had a lot of parents reach out to say that they don't see all of their students listed when they go into the Safe Arrival app. So it might only have 2 of their students and not 2 others of them. This happens when you have provided different email addresses when you have gone into PowerSchool to do your registration process for your students, and then maybe you're using a different email address for the Safe Arrival app. So we need you to make sure that the email addresses that you have listed in PowerSchool are the same for all of your children, and that is the same email address that you have reported on your Safe Arrival app. When all of those match, then you will see all of the students reported on there. So that can help with some of those situations. So if you'll check your contact information as you log into PowerSchool for each one of your children and make sure that it's the correct email address and it matches the email address you have provided on the Safe Arrival app. We also have received a lot of messages stating that emails and phone calls were going to secondary contacts or incorrect contacts. PowerSchool has identified the issue with that. They had set up a portion of the program incorrectly, so it was pulling information from the wrong fields. So we hope that this has been remedied now, but once again, you'll want to go into the app, make sure that your contact information is correct. Click sync to make sure that that program is updated. We have also received a lot of feedback from parents that they can't go in and excuse the absence several days later through the app, and that is correct. With Safe Arrival, you have to excuse the absence the same day you're receiving that notification. So when you get that notification, go in and excuse the absence immediately, because it only gives us until about 11:30 that same day, PM, that same day, to be able to excuse those absences. Otherwise, you still have to call the school to excuse it. So if you will make sure that you're just clicking on that and getting that done before you go to bed that same night, then that will allow us to make sure that we can excuse those absences. Also, I want to make you aware as parents that there is an app that you can download called the Safe UT app. Our students know about this particular app, and it allows them to report things like bullying, harassment, safety issues, a variety of things that could be taking place within their school. Parents can also download this app, and you are also able to report things that are happening, and you can report on multiple schools. So if you have an elementary child, you also have a middle school and a high school aged child, you can select the school that you want to report it to, because those messages go straight to the administrators of that school so that they can follow up and investigate, get more information, and problem solve those particular issues. So it would be really great if you could download that app. We will have information on our website to help facilitate that as well. So as you have questions about it, but that is a great way to inform administrators of things that might be happening in the school that you feel like that they need to investigate and look at more carefully. We are still looking for parents to be part of our Parent Advisory Committee and our Citizens Connections Committee. We appreciate those of you who have already put in applications. We would like to keep those open for a little while longer. Remember that we are trying to get parents that are not necessarily already connected through PTAs and school community councils. These would be parents that might not have the opportunity to participate in those particular meetings just because maybe of the time of day when they meet, but we also want to get a parent committee that is pretty representative of our demographic as a whole, so that we can start hearing about the experiences that your children are having in school, so that we can hopefully problem solve issues as they're coming up as a system, rather than just allowing each school to handle that entirely on their own. We need to know how we can help support our students and create more welcoming and wonderful environments for our kids to learn in. I think that's it for this week. Our podcast is about the strategic plan, so tune into that if you want to hear more details. I visit with President Rebecca Nielsen and Vice President Jennifer Partridge about the strategic plan, and that is a great place to learn more about the work that we are engaged with here in Provo City School District. And with that, I want to wish all of you a fantastic week. I also want to congratulate our Provo and Timpview volleyball teams. They did a phenomenal job in the state playoffs, and they represented their schools well, and just are incredible athletes that have been so dedicated to their team's success. We also want to give a big shout out to our Provo High football team, who had an incredible season. And unfortunately, they lost in the quarterfinals, but just a big shout out to Coach Chambers, to the Provo High administration, to the many parents that helped support that program. They did a fantastic job, and it was just fun to watch their season. It was a real joy to be a part of. Congratulations to Timpview High. They will be advancing to the semifinals and be playing at Rice-Eccles Stadium on Friday at 11 a.m. And so best of luck to them as well. With that, everyone, we hope you have a fantastic week, and see you next time.